Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Self-Care Sunday. I really see this entire year of Self-Care Sunday episodes as more of a volume 2, season 2 kind of vibe. We're having adult conversations. I'm not necessarily doing my makeup anymore, which is how this series had originally started out as. And I have an update for you with regards to self-care as a series. I've officially marked it off as a podcast on YouTube, so you can also listen to me if you're driving, commuting, in a train, in a rickshaw, in a cab, and you can access this entire playlist of Self-Care Sunday with me by going onto YouTube Music, looking for Self-Care Sunday or typing in my name, and you should be able to see it there. Now that I've gotten that Self-Care Sunday update out of the way, let's really dive into life updates. And boy, are there many things happening in my life together. Let's not make this intro any longer and let's dive right into it. So I originally wanted to film like a half year, 6-month life update to 2024, but I hadn't shared at that time. And in case you don't know, drum rolls please, I'm pregnant. By the time you are watching this upload, I will probably be in just starting out my 6th month of being pregnant. And I cannot tell you what a journey this has been. This is literally why I waited to upload later, because I wanted to make sure you guys get the clear, real, proper updates on what has been happening in my life in 2024. And naturally, being pregnant is right up there at the top of my highlights. I also want to say I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be one of those content creators, influencers who makes pregnancy sound and seem so smooth like butter. It is not. I went through a 6 to 7 week period, maybe 6 to 8 week period, where I couldn't move. I was perpetually in bed. I was dealing with physical exhaustion, like a train had come and hit me. I could not figure out what was happening naturally, because this is my first proper pregnancy. And I just was also dealing with so much fear, because I have had that miscarriage before. I wanted to constantly be careful that I don't want to do anything to make this go wrong, because that is a fear one lives in if you have lived through the trauma that I have, and I hope nobody ever goes through that. I was constantly like, what can I do to make this fetus's life, this baby's life more sure, and what can I do to make it better? And it took my gynecologist confirming to me that, listen, you're doing everything you can, don't get up in your head, you're doing everything fine. The only things that I was told was to stay as much in the house as possible, avoid going out. Apparently April, May, June in Mumbai, I don't know if all over India, but in Mumbai is what the gynacs casually call like miscarriage season, because the heat doesn't have a very good impact on a lot of fetuses. And so I took that I took that to a whole new level by not stepping out at all for a very long time, which of course also had a negative impact on me, because not stepping out of the house at all cannot be good for anybody's mental health. I closed off. I was only meeting my friends who were coming home to see me. Barely 3 of my friends knew I was pregnant, and 3 of them would definitely make an effort to come home and see me, because they knew that I was being so careful about every single thing. Apart from which, of course, my mom and dad, my family was obviously there for me, which goes without saying. Another thing that I was quietly dealing with, which by now, if you watch my vlogs regularly, I really hope you guys have subscribed to the channel by now. Sometimes the stats show me that most of you just watch my vlogs and don't necessarily subscribe. So I'd really appreciate if you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because it helps your girl out from an algorithm point of view. Just want to put that out there. If you do watch my vlogs regularly, which is where I was going with this story on, I have dealt with a lot of staff issues, right from, I want to say, Feb all the way till August. And I recorded all of these issues in great detail because you asked for it. That vlog is definitely already up by now. I will leave a link to that down below in the description section. And I was so touched that so many of you reached out and were like, wait, but what happened? And it made me realize that what I share with you is not just like the fun stuff, or it's not just like the stuff that looks glamorous, or the travels, or even if it's just for the pregnancy, for example. there's so much of a personal connect that I realize I have developed with you, that it's like this codependent relationship of sorts that I think I've built with you guys, that I personally love. I'm gonna say that. Like, I didn't upload videos in the middle for around 13 days, which was when I was in just in that 6 to 8 week period where I couldn't film, I couldn't move, I could barely work. I was still editing content, but I just didn't have it in me to close the loop on a few things. And then there was an upload delay from my end. And I feel like I owe so much to you guys when it comes to not just the fun stuff, but also the real stuff. It means so much to me that we've been able to build. And I say we because I haven't built this alone. You are very much a part of this, as I am. And we've together built this safe space of sorts where we can really talk about anything and everything. I continue to acknowledge my privilege on the various things, of course, of life, of work, of the fact that I even have staff troubles. Let's say if that's happening, that I'm even in a position to have staff. Every single thing I'm grateful for, and I will acknowledge repeatedly if I have to, because I don't want anyone at any point of time thinking that I'm taking anything for granted. That is just not my style. The attitude of gratitude is something that is so deeply embedded in my school of thought, in who I am. And so when I was going through that period of like having inconsistent staff at home, it was during my first trimester then, I was just constantly like, I felt like I'm rolling with the punches because I absolutely have to. We all have to. And the only thing that kept me going in my head was that I know deep in my heart, deep in my gut, that amazing things are coming, that great things are about to happen for me in my life. And that is honestly also part of my morning affirmations, when I say to myself that I don't even know how good the things are that are headed my way. They're beyond my own imagination and my own anticipation. And if you guys want me to do a separate self-care Sunday video dedicated to how I plan my morning meditations, how I work around my affirmations, go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section, because I'm open to that. I'm really open about these things, as I am about everything, to be honest. And I just feel like it has changed my life in a way that I can't even begin to express. It has changed my life. It has changed my mindset in a way that anything happens, I go looking for that silver lining. And I've realized in the past year and a half, to be honest, I've truly realized what a blessing that is to have as a personality trait. A friend of mine told me this in the end of 2020. I remember we had gone on a trip to Alibag, to the Happy Place Villas, in fact. And if I have a vlog from that trip, I'm definitely going to leave it down below for you to go take a look at. And I remember one of our friends over there said to me, she said, we were discussing life and deep things and, just things like that. And she was like, I don't know anybody in my life. Like, she said this, she doesn't know anybody in her life that is more grateful for things than me. And I was so touched by her saying that. And I think that somewhere it's a good thing that even I didn't realize how grateful I am as a person, because it's just something that to me is a way of life and has always helped me look out for the silver linings, look out for, okay, this has happened. What can I make of this? Does this mean it can only go up from here? How can I get through this? Because giving up cannot be an option. Giving up should never be an option. So that's something that I think that I've subconsciously, I can't take credit for it, I've subconsciously taken very seriously. My mom is like that. I get that from my mom. My mom will always be the one to remind me to say, just shukar, Anam, just shukar. And I will always just say shukar. Like, whatever the situation is, it should never have to be, why me? And I'll say this, one of my aunts called me last year after my miscarriage, when she read my very detailed post about my experience through the miscarriage on a very specific post I had uploaded. I will leave a link to that post down below for you as well. And she said, can I tell you that, like, she offered her condolence and she offered me her support and love. And she said that, and this really stayed with me, she said that, you know what I really appreciated about your post? Not once did you say, why me? And I think it was that moment that stayed with me because I realized I'm not that person. I never ask why me, because so many good things have happened in my life also, right? More good things than bad things, to be honest. Alhamdulillah for that. And so if I start saying why me, then I also have to say why me for the good things. And I don't want to say why me for the good things. There's one thing that I want to kind of leave as advice to you, because I'm saying everything in my POV right now to you. But if there was one thing that I would give to anyone as advice, going through a bad time, going through a hard time on any front, I think it would be to remind yourself not to say why me, if that is a thought that you have. Because so many wonderful things could be coming your way, and then you don't want to say why me. I think the minute you set yourself up in your head to tell yourself you are God's favorite child, you will become God's favorite child. And I think that acceptance, that gratitude, that attitude for gratitude, that level of just self-love and self-care that kicks in when you think you are special is beautiful. And the fact of the matter is, and something I've consistently said, whether it's online, offline, to my close friends, best friends, my husband who was once my boyfriend, I think that if you can't love yourself and care for yourself enough, you cannot expect anybody else to do it the way you imagine or beyond your imagination. You have to be able to romanticize your life. That's the way social media is putting it these days, right? Romanticize your life. You have to be able to romanticize your life. Self-care is such an important part, and it goes beyond the surface level things. There's so much to self-care. Self-care has to do with looking after yourself, saying positive things to yourself, drawing your boundaries, so important. Learning when to try hard enough and when to let go. My God, that is an art, and it is an art of self-care. It is a type of self-care. Just figuring life on all fronts. These are such important aspects of truly taking care of yourself. Of course, one of the simplest things you can do for yourself on a daily basis when it comes to self-care is making sure you're doing your skincare right, making sure you're using products that are great, making sure you're using products that work very well for you. And I think that this is a great time to share with you a couple of products that I'm really loving right now from L'Oréal Paris. I have 2 products from L'Oréal Paris over here that have made it to my everyday skincare routine. When it comes to everyday self-care, skincare is something that all of us love doing, love indulging in. And I think that these 2 products have become my absolute favorites over a period of time. This particular cream, my God, I'm on a repeat of. It is not my first one. And the serum is something that I'm really enjoying using as well. So let me quickly tell you about both of these products just a little bit more from a formula point of view. The L'Oréal Paris Revitalift Hyaluronic Acid 1.5 Hyaluron Serum is one of the most lightweight serums you'll ever use. It is so easy to slip onto your skin and feels really, really nice and lightweight. I love how the consistency is super thin and water-like, making it perfect for your AM or your PM routine. The L'Oréal Paris Revitalift Hyaluronic Acid Line-Filling Water Cream is a gel formula. This makes it perfect to use in your AM routine because you don't want a heavy, rich cream to be used in the day. This one is super lightweight, non-greasy, non-sticky, which makes it perfect for daily use. Both of these products get absorbed into the skin super easily, making it perfect for hot and humid climate like monsoons, especially for someone like me who lives in Mumbai and deals with this kind of climate pretty much all through the year, I want to say. My skin is so well hydrated with the help of this duo, and it has become visibly plump, which I absolutely love. Hyaluronic acid is one of those ingredients that I love seeing in product names in general, and these 2 particularly, because it really does what it says. Makes my skin feel healthy, makes it juicy, gives it that nice plumpness, and hydrates it, which is someone like me who has dry skin really struggles with in general. What's great about this duo of products is that over and above everything I've already mentioned it also helps combat fine lines, and you will see visible results with regular use of this range. I'm going to go ahead and leave the link into both of these L'Oréal Paris products for you down below in the description section, so make sure you go check them out. Thank you L'Oréal Paris for partnering with me for a small portion of today's video. One of the things that I have also shared with you in a vlog that is not yet live but will be live really soon is that I had such a scary couple of days in the middle with a few threatening phone calls. It was overwhelming and shaking my soul to the core in a way that I've obviously never experienced before, and I was scared. I was worried for my safety. I wished and hoped that everything would go well and that those days would just pass by. And I talked about it in detail in a vlog, so I won't deep dive into it again over here. And that's why I say this year has been a mix of just so many things. But one of the things that I should update you on, which is I think the second best thing that has happened this year in 2024, apart from, of course, being pregnant, has been the fact that we're going to be moving homes very, very soon. Wanting to upgrade our home has been on the cards for a little over a year. I've talked about it, and in fact, one of the times I talked about it in my vlogs, so many of you reached out on emails. I didn't know there were so many interior designers and architects over here. I had some home decor brands reach out, but at that point things were still not completely finalized. Even in present day, as I'm filming this, I would say that about 80% of things are done. But the fact of the matter is, and this is what I mean by, like, I think it's that one of those things where, like, dene wala jab bhi deta chappad faad ke, and God was like, you wanted A, B, C, take all A, B, C together right now. And I'm loving it, to be honest. It can be a tad overwhelming from the point of view of navigating logistics, health, pregnancy scans and all of that, but there are a couple of really cool things happening back to back in my life right now. As soon as we finish the last 20% of this moving stuff that we're figuring out from a bureaucratic paperwork point of view, I want to say, we literally have to move immediately. And when I say immediately, I mean immediately, because I want to do up the space in a certain way that is going to take about, I want to say, like, I think that the civil work, the dust work and all of that is going to go on for at least a month and a half. And then, of course, doing up the home decor and stuff like that is an ongoing process. I need to make sure, obviously, that the entire house as a whole is done before baby arrives. Baby is due early 2025. When I say early 2025, I mean early Jan 2025. The due date has already changed a couple of times, so I think I'm going to hold my horses on that, in the sense that obviously I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later, in the best way possible that is good for the baby's health, because I'm so excited to meet baby. I'm also a little bit scared of birth, but let's not go there right now in this video. I think that needs to be a separate video, and hopefully that will come after delivery, because then I'm happy to share my honest, real, raw experience with you guys on a birth story. I watch so many birth stories here on YouTube, so it'll be interesting for me to be in a position to share mine. But I have to make sure that I move immediately into this house and start getting work done. One of the things that Jerry and I are also finding a little bit uncomfortable with that is the fact that because there is a certain amount of civil work that needs to be done, walls being broken / walls being rebuilt, depending on, like, you'll understand when I show you the empty house tour, which obviously I promise you is going to be coming your way. I cannot be living in that state, because in that state of the house, because it's a lot of dirt, it's a lot of dust. So in my pregnant state, and also Nibbles can't be living in that state either, because, like, it's not good for her health either. She's right there. She's sleeping behind the mic and everything. So we're figuring out solutions to that. I had a travel planned with a tourism board, which looks like it might get cancelled, which is actually turning out to be a blessing, because then I can go for a little bit longer on a separate trip that I really wanted to go on, which would have been a shorter one. So I guess that is the silver lining for me in that context. I don't mean to sound ambiguous or like I'm being like an influencer who's just dropping hints or whatever. It's just that the plans haven't been set in stone yet. I haven't booked tickets. I need to sit on logistics. There are multiple people involved. And so I just want to make sure that if and when I do decide to go ahead, and the logistical aspects of all of this clears up, I want to be in a position to then share that stuff with you. In the midst of staff troubles, pregnancy, first trimester things, threatening phone calls, which I'm laughing about now, but I have cried for 3 days straight over, and all of this house moving stuff, my grandmother has also fallen sick. She's actually been in the hospital for almost 2 weeks at this point, and she was in the ICU for most of it, and she got moved to a regular room a few days ago, and the doctor has very clearly said that we're just moving her to a regular room, but her treatment is still very much ICU level. So there's so much of that's being handled at the back end by my mom mainly. My mom's siblings, literally nobody lives in India, and my mom and dad are obviously taking, like, in a sense, logistically being there, physically taking care of the situation. I have been completely banned from entering the hospital, so I feel like I'm also a little bit guilty, where I almost feel useless. I can't do anything from far away. I can't physically go there and see her. If you watch my vlogs regularly, you know I saw my grandmother literally a weekish, was it, before she actually got hospitalized, because I was trying to tell her that there was a baby in my belly and she wasn't able to register it, which was, I feel like, the tragedy. I don't want to call it tragedy, but like the sadness of that was just that, she would have been so excited had she had a clear mind. She suffers from dementia, so she's not always completely tuned in, and because she wasn't as tuned in on that at that time, she couldn't register that I was taking her hand and rubbing it on my belly and trying to make her realize that she has a great grandchild on the way. I mean, she has 2 great grandchildren, Rayan and Ramaisa, my brother's kids, but that my first kid is on the way. And she didn't register it, and then I went to say bye to her back again in her room, because like we were in her room, and I have 2 grandmoms, so my other grandmom was also unwell, who was in India for that brief period, and then I went back to my nanny and said bye to say bye to her. And at that time she suddenly saw me and she smiled, and so I tried to tell her that there's a baby in my belly, and then she smiled, and I think she registered it. I mean, that's what we assumed, that she registered it. I didn't catch that on camera because I wasn't vlogging like everything, obviously it was just glimpses. So I wonder if she truly did register or not. This is what I mean by, like, I wanted to sit down and give you life updates in like July up to June, but then I feel like just between July and this first half of August, so much has happened that it's probably a good thing that I didn't film that then. I would have also felt really weird filming a life update video for you without telling you that I'm pregnant, because one of the things that I shouldn't, but I was definitely feeling guilty about, was lying to you guys, or like hiding from you guys that I was pregnant. Because for a brief period there, anytime someone asked me what happened to you, how's your health, I just had to say migraines, because I do get migraines. It's not like I don't get migraines, but kind of dismissing or like reducing it to migraines, because obviously, like, in your first trimester, you typically don't share this news with people. You want to make sure you get done with that first big scan, your anti-dual marker scan. And I have my second scan coming up very soon. In fact, a couple of days maybe after this video goes live. And I'm so excited for it, but I'm also so nervous for it. This is the 3rd scan that you kind of, is part of your pregnancy journey, at least in the Indian health system, that doctors ask you to get. And before each scan, I'm so anxious. I'm excited, but I'm also nervous. Yeah, there's just so much that's happening at the same time. I also particularly want to call out and say thank you to all of you for the amount of love that has come our way. When I say our way, I mean all 3 of our way. Me, Jerry, and baby. When you have sent so much of good juju. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. So many people who are like, don't overshare during this period, because I am an oversharer. I'm a certified oversharer, like in my vlogs into you guys. But I wouldn't have it any other way, if you ask me. I find it so freeing and liberating to just be myself. You know what I mean? Like, I've been wanting to sit down and film this self-care Sunday video for a couple of days. And I said I want to do it in a mode where I can sit down and just speak freely. And so I am today over here. And it feels good. It feels liberating to truly be myself in all aspects, even if it means sometimes those aspects may get me in trouble for speaking a little too freely or speaking about my politics that you may disagree with. It's okay. We're allowed to have disagreements. We're all adults. We can't agree to absolutely everything. That's just not possible. I mean, the man I married and I still have disagreements because sometimes we just don't see eye to eye on certain subjects, which is totally fine. I feel like if you can truly disagree with someone in a way that is mature, and you can still find a way to figure out all the common fundas that bring you together instead of what takes you apart. That is, in my opinion, a very mature relationship. I've had friends, where I felt like, okay, there's too many things where we think differently about things, or friends that would unfortunately occasionally give me that little nudge taunt about my job, or be like, you think you know better about something. And I'm the first person to say, I don't know anything about this subject. Teach me, educate me. But like, if I do have more experience on a certain subject than someone else, I will also not I will not walk on eggshells and be nervous about saying, no, actually, this is why I'm trying to protect you from so and so person, or I think that your treatment of so and so situation could have been handled better. My problem, as well as my biggest plus point, is that as a person, I'm very move but I will say what I need to say. Of course, I think that what you're saying and how you're saying are very dependent on each other, because even if you're saying it's a disagreement, but if you can do it in a mature or polite or nice way, that's very important. So I don't disregard the gravity of that at all, but I think that I'm just very straightforward to a frank. I'm very frank and straightforward to a point, sorry. And one can either love that or hate that. Yeah, I feel like I've got you up on so many things, and there are still one or two things that I can't necessarily talk about at the moment. I have a Wearified launch coming up very, very soon, less than a month from when you're watching this video. So there's that for you, which is a separate, this particular launch has drained me emotionally. Not emotionally, I don't want to make it sound like emotionally, but like, my God, I've really like banged my head against the wall for this one, because I have picked it up and dropped it 3 to 4 times in the last 3 to 4 years. It's been such an intimidating product line to work on. It's a whole new category for us as a brand, but I'm so excited to be able to finally bring it to life. So please make sure you're following the Wearified Instagram page. We're also quite active on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed on there, and I will hopefully be able to share more news on that. There's, again, like I said, 1 or 2 other things that I can't talk about, but I will talk about. And what I will 100% do is do these self-care Sunday videos more often, because to me, these are therapeutic to film, therapeutic to vent, let's say, and hopefully you still find some value in them, or just something to take away from them that we can connect on a personal level. If you haven't seen or heard any of the episodes that I've uploaded in the past in this series, I'm definitely leaving a link to that playlist for you down below in the description section. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, I want you to go ahead and leave this emoji down below in the comment section, so I know you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I'm always reading, liking, hearting, and responding to absolutely each and every one of your comments. They brighten up my day. They are the silver lining for me on so many days. I screenshot and keep them sometimes in a specific folder on one of my hard drives that I can go back to and see whenever I'm having a hard time on anything. And like, I cannot stress enough how much I appreciate and value each and every one of you over here in my life. Even if it means you are my family virtually, it still means you are my family to me. So thank you for being the uplifting, positive community that you are. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, L'Oreal Paris, for partnering with me for a small portion of today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.